Hey, good morning. It's Crystal Roy with the Safari Group, and today I'm talking about solving failure to launch for adult children. So stay tuned. I have a couple of solutions for you. One of those is allergies, sorry. Stay and pay, but truly, if your adult child cannot reach their potential living with you, there are some other options I want to talk to you about. Okay, so first of all, there are room rentals that are available in other families' homes, which, could be an option for you. Room rentals run, sorry, of course, my allergies are going to start up right now. In the Charlotte market from about $700 to $850. That includes all utilities, laundry usage, kitchen usage. It used to be what you and I would pay for an apartment, but those days are gone. So I would look into that. Maybe some folks at your worship center might have an extra room. You might know of a single mom who may want to rent a room to a young lady. You may have a widow who might rent to a young man. Young men typically go to work and come home, and they're very quiet. You also have to have in place a one-pager if your kids are going to stay home, or if you're going to have someone rooming in your own home. That is called adults living at home and what the expectations are. So let's start with, if your child is going to live at home and they're over the age of 18 and they have a job. It's hopefully been their experience since the age of 14 or 15 to expect to do work around the house. And chore money might have ended at 14, and now we have work money. You and your spouse might have differences of opinion and philosophy about what that looks like. Me personally, I always liked to pay our sons well, to do a job well done. I wanted them to look forward to doing work in exchange for money. And of course, their own room was their own room. Their own laundry at 10 years old was their own laundry. And I did not care if somebody had pink underwear. And I didn't care if it was clean or not clean, because it only took the third time of having to pull clothes from their own hamper and wearing it dirty that they used the system and the training that they had for doing laundry. Now, laundry starts at the age of 4. I'm not saying that I gave my 4-year-old total responsibility, but a 4-year-old can learn to fold smaller things like their own panties or underwear, and they can fold things like washcloths and hand towels. And you can incorporate math into that. Ooh, let's fold this into thirds. Let's fold this into fourths. So there's teaching with laundry that starts, when the child can take off and put on their own clothes. So this is the hamper. We put whites here. We put towels here. We hang washcloths to dry before we toss them in the laundry. And then here's where dark jeans go, and here's where light shirts go, right? So we're sorting. So sorting is math, it's thinking. By the age of 18, there are really specific independent living skills that every human being should know, right? So by the age of 12, they should be making a simple meal for the family, like spaghetti with a salad. But back to, if the child's going to stay and pay, here's what that might look like. They might pay 25% of their income as rent to use the house as they always have. You're still mom and dad. You're not a landlord-tenant situation. The house rules are the same, and they still do all their own independent living activities, and they still do chores. If they've always mowed the yard, they still mow the yard, that kind of thing. Now, there's a go and grow, right? So that might be renting a room from someone else. God gives us our children as those sweet-smelling little babies, and then they become teenagers, and then we want to throw them out, right? But if God had given us those children as teenagers, we would have like, I'm done. But it is time to go and grow, and you start not threatening, right? But saying, hey, what do you think would be a great job or a career track for yourself by the time you're 18? And, very few are going to know necessarily about a career track, but you can look around at what they've been doing their whole lives. What have they enjoyed doing? What seems to be natural skills and talents? And then lead them according to the way they're designed, right? Even I had a child living at home go through unemployment, and he still paid me a percentage of his unemployment. And that was voluntary. I didn't ask for it. So, it's in the heart of some, and some you're going to have to drag it out by saying, hey, sometime over the next week, we want to take about 20 minutes with you to talk about what it's like living at home as an adult, right? You're setting them up to know that you're going to have that discussion. It's going to be, scheduled within a week. And you're saying it's going to be about 20 minutes. You're not going to have a 2-hour argument about what's happening. So it sets them up for success, knowing what they're going to talk about. Now, everything in your house that concerns other people, including young children, bring them in on that conversation. Now, you and your spouse should have a framework, right? The absolutes. But anyone who is affected by a decision should be included in the decision-making process, in my opinion. This helps to teach children, even adult children, but hopefully you started well before then, collaboration and how to negotiate. It's a very important skill. If we shut children down every time they say something that we don't agree with, we're not teaching them how to collaborate and negotiate. And those are very important independent living skills that you're not going to find on the traditional list. You're going to find do laundry, cook your own food, clean, right? These kinds of things. But again, collaboration and negotiation are extremely important skills for everyday living. Now let's talk about popping out and the 7 levels of financial freedom. Okay, one of the top 3 are you're popped out of mom and dad's and you're paying your own living expenses. That could be a rental situation, which is great. And that could be a room rental somewhere else. That's kind of a semi paying your own, way, because you don't technically have to pay that mortgage on time and pay the electricity on time and pay the other utilities on time and arrange for the lawn to be cared for. It is a soft entry into independent living, but still an important one. But when I'm saying pop out and living independently and paying your own bills, that's a soft form. The hard form is either you're renting a house or an apartment on your own, or you've bought a house. And I can help you with either of these 3 I can help you with 4 categories. If you like my 1-pager of adults living at home, just let me know. I'd love to email it to you. Excuse me. And guess what? Great news. If your high schooler has had a job through high school for at least 2 years working in the same industry, and they graduate from high school and go full-time in the same industry, let's talk to a lender about a loan, because we have all of the down payment assistance available and all the closing costs. So your child could begin their investments very early in life at the age of 18, and that is not too early. My late husband and I bought our first house when we were 20 years old. He was 24. And that's after a couple of years of living in apartments. And we launched quickly. Our age did that. And now we have great net worth. We have to help our children step into establishing their own net worth. And, we went through in our lifetime lots of job changes. And in fact, in 1985, when we bought our first home, Oh, I was 21. I was about to turn 21. We paid 12.25 interest rate, which was huge. It was terrible. But we did it, right? Instead of building this house, we built this house, which was fine. But we made money when we sold it. We first converted it to a rental and moved up, converted that house to a rental, moved up, and sold that house for great gain. All right. So just to give you an idea, okay, in 2002, this is one of my counterparts sharing. He just went to a listing appointment. In 2002, in a small town nearby, my counterpart went to a listing appointment to have a listing for a new property. And the owners bought that house in 2002 for $170,000. And I'm sure back then they went, whoa, that's too much. We don't want to pay that. But today, now I can't promise this kind of return at all, but today they're listing the home for $2.5 million, right? So the best time to buy a house was 20 years ago, but the second best time is today. So with down payment assistance available from many lenders, as long as your adult child has a middle credit score of 620, we can get them down payment assistance and seller contributions, so paying their closing costs. I'd love to talk to you more about that and also talk to you about the 7 levels of financial freedom. If you'd like any of my one-pagers, you can text me at 704-562-1030, and I'll be glad to get your email and send those over. And again, it's Crystal Roy with the Safari Group. Let me know if I can help you with anything at all, and let me help you solve failure to launch. The last thing I want you to do is to call me and say, Crystal, we want to buy a 2-bedroom condo because we're reverse launching the children and they don't know we're moving yet. No, let's not do that. I have worked with those families and I don't want that to happen to you. I don't want you to give up everything you've worked so hard for just because you can't establish launching your kids. Have a great day, everybody. Bye-bye.